Hey folks, today I'm heading to the prairies of Saskatchewan to explore two single grain whiskies from BlackFox Farm and Distillery. They're Triticale, also known as Rye, and Triticale, or Triticale whiskey. These whiskies don't just carry the flavor of the grain, they carry the story of the land they came from. Unlike many of my past reviews, I am not actually diving into these bottles fresh. I wanted a chance to really think about how I felt about them before I shared my thoughts, so I opened them just the other night. Also, stick around because later on I'll be running serial numbers, which each bottle comes with, to unlock their certificates of provenance, a digital document that traces every step from the field to the bottle, revealing the journey behind each one, which I think is super fun. BlackFox Farm and Distillery was founded by John and Barb. Both of them are fifth-generation farmers who have taken their deep connection to the land and poured it into every bottle. But first, the name Black Fox itself comes from an actual black fox that apparently made its home one summer on their original grain farm. I love it. It's this fun little nod to the unexpected beauty of nature. John and Barb's philosophy is all about terroir, the idea that where something is grown influences how it tastes. Terroir is something you traditionally heard talked about in wine, but whiskey is catching up. And Black Fox is trying to lead the charge here in Canada. While people might have once scoffed at wine snobs for their terroir, I love it. I think of it, in a way, as these bottles being a snapshot of time capsules. This sort of snapshot of a place, a season, and the choices all along the way. I'll talk about these decisions when we open up the certificates of provenance, but first up, we are going to look at their Triticale, or rye whiskey. We're looking at 47.9%, so let's give it a pour. I'm going to choose different glasses for each one. Color-wise, it's got this really dark sort of caramel. The nose is dusty, which I really like. You definitely get some young graininess, maybe with a bit of red fruit. I'm getting cranberry and candy-like sweetness, like a Demarest sugar. So I remember when I poured this the other night, I remembered it sort of had this sharpness to start, and the first taste was not quite enough. So I'm gonna dive back in there. It is truthfully a little sharper than I like, but there's nothing wrong with that. I like really oily whiskeys. It's all just personal preference. But it's bright and crisp like citrus off of the top or the front. You get something like apple cider that has a nice bit of spice, and I'm getting something like wasabi almost. After that initial bite, it really seems to settle down with a bit of baked and buttery notes. They're really rich, really nice. Yeah, those really baked, buttery, and it's quite sweet actually. This is a really sweet rye. I really like the finish to this. It's not too long, but you get a bit of fresh hay and something like herbal green tea. It's a really nice rye. It has a lot going on. That herbalness with the fresh grains and that sweet, baked and buttery. It's really good. Now, looking at the certificate of provenance, we'll find out a little bit more about this bottle. This rye came from the 2016 crop and has a crop location it says here of these numbers. I wish I had something like longitude and latitude so I could actually find the location. I'm not quite sure what these numbers represent. If you know, shoot me a message down below. I would absolutely love to learn a bit more about that. But this here is fascinating. It says the storage temperatures range from minus 42.5 degrees Celsius to 40.1 degrees Celsius, or in Fahrenheit, that's minus 44.5 to 104. That's a huge swing, and that can really push whiskey's maturation. The Scotch Whisky Research Institute suggests that even minor fluctuations can alter the spirit's aging trajectory. And for optimal aging, they suggest a consistent temperature of 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. The colder it is will slow down the aging process because the liquid inside will contract, resulting in less interaction with the wood of the cask. so it would cause slower extraction of flavors and things like that. On the other hand, hotter temperatures can not only cause more evaporation for the angel share, but also accelerates the extraction of compounds from the cask. Now, you can see down here, it says the angel share for this one is 6.4% per year, which is on the upper end of normal, which would typically be 2 to 5%. Moving on though, it looks like this was aged in American oak casks with a number 3 char level, and they've also got a crop commentary section where John writes about losing a lot of the crop to an early snow that year, and that was finished in a French wine cask from a winery called Domaine of the Bee. Maybe that's why it's so sweet. Okay, I could talk about this more, but let's move on to the Triticale whiskey. All right. Next, the Triticale whiskey is a grain hybrid of wheat and rye. We're looking at 47.8% here. So let's give it a pour. Oh, wow. Yeah, I definitely like the nose on this one. I liked it the other night, and I think I like it even more now. It's sweet, it's salty. You have this buttery brown sugar with praline. Really nice nose. I am going to enjoy this bottle. Thank you, John and Barb. You've got some nice red fruit to it, like raspberry off the top, and licorice. Maybe a little bit of milk chocolate. That licorice is really nice, not overpowering, but the whiskey bounces between sort of red fruits and this subtle chocolate. And just like the rye, is actually really quite sweet. But I think the finish is where this one really shines. It has a delicious graininess, like straw, not too dissimilar from the rye, but much longer. It lingers nice and soft, but really long, and you get just this hint of ginger. Between the nose and the finish, I love this one. But if we were to look at the certificate of provenance, it says this one comes from a 2017 crop under similar wild temperature swings, minus 42.5 to 40.1 Celsius, or minus 42.5 to 104 Fahrenheit. But somehow the angel share is more normal, at only 2.9% per year. This was also aged in American oak, again number 3 char, but no finishing, just pure grain and wood, showing, I guess, what Saskatchewan's terroir can do. Comparing these two side by side, the nose on the rye is much sweeter, but the rye is also sharper, it's brighter, and it has that sort of rye green tea element to it, which you definitely find. But the nose on the Triticale is great. And I just love how it finishes. If I had to choose one, I would be picking up the Triticale. BlackFox Farm and Distillery has been racking up awards, including recognitions at the World Whiskey Masters, Canadian Artisan Spirits Competition, and the International Wine and Spirit Competition. But I think what really sets them apart is their commitment to showing that great whiskey starts in the field and begins with the people who tend to those fields. So if you're looking for something that connects the glass in your hand to the land that it came from, BlackFox should definitely be on your radar. In a few weeks, I'll be comparing their blended whiskey, which I'm super excited for, and their cask finished whiskey too. So hit the bell, come on back for that one, and let me know in the comments below. Does terroir really matter to you when you are choosing what whiskey to buy or sipping the whiskey? What other distillery should I check out? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.